For centuries, the female body has been a hidden territory, manipulated and silenced. And inside that mystery lies a phenomenon worshipped in secret temples, censored by patriarchal religions, and reduced to sensationalism in the dark corners of the internet: squirting. Many have seen it, few understand it, some chase it like a sexual trophy. But what if it's something more? What if the fluid that comes out isn't just liquid, but the bottled-up energy of generations of women? What if that stream isn't just pleasure, but the soul breaking free from emotional chains? Today on Protocolo Okulto, we're diving into a journey through physiology, spirituality, science, and taboo. We're not here to teach you how to do it. We're here to explain why it happens and what it really means. Because when the uterus speaks, it doesn't use words, it speaks with water. Stick with us until the end, because you'll never see pleasure the same way again. And if you're new here, subscribe now, because we don't just repeat what's already been said. We've come to shed light where there's only been darkness. For years, we've been told squirting is just a simple reflex, overstimulation of a spot called the G-spot, a mix of glands, nerves, and intense arousal. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, because what many women feel in that moment doesn't look like pleasure. It looks like crying. Not tears of sadness, but tears of release, surrender, letting go of something trapped for years. Something without words that can only become water. The ancient tantrics understood this. In their oldest texts on sacred sexuality, they spoke of Amrita, the nectar of the gods that flows from a woman's body when she reaches total openness. It's not an orgasm, but a trance, a doorway to another reality that happens when the body completely lets go. And when that barrier is crossed, the water flows, because water doesn't lie. Water can't stay where there's pain. As emotion, symbol, and energy, water is pure movement. When it gets stuck in a woman's body because of trauma, shame, abuse, repression, or self-censorship, it turns into silent pressure until something, someone, or a moment of love and vulnerability breaks it. That's when squirting happens, not as a bedroom trick, but as a psychoenergetic release of years of blockages from the second chakra, the center of water, creativity, sexuality, and uterine memory. There live not only the emotions of this life, but, according to ancient teachings, unresolved memories of past generations, women who could never speak, scream, or allow themselves to feel, whose pain silently echoes through blood and DNA. Squirting can be an orgasm of the soul, a kind of liquid crying of the womb, when the body surrenders not to pleasure, but to freedom. And many women know this, even if they don't say it out loud, because afterward they don't feel euphoria. They feel peace, like something has been returned to its origin, like an ancient wound has been cleansed by that sacred water. That's why what comes out in that moment isn't vulgarity, porn, or excess. It's truth. And in a world that turns everything into a spectacle, maybe it's time to look deeper, because the soul needs release too, and sometimes it does that through water. And you, what haven't you let flow yet? Don't go anywhere. In the next segment, we'll explore what science says and what it's still hiding about this phenomenon, because understanding the mystery is part of healing it. If you haven't already, subscribe now and share this episode with someone who deserves to reconnect with their body's wisdom. We live in a time that dissects everything just to believe in something. The sacred is no longer honored, it's analyzed. So when stories of squirting began to surface from brave women, science rushed in with test tubes. They wanted to know exactly what that fluid was. Female prostatic secretion or something else? What they found was both confusing and revealing. In many cases, the fluid had urea, creatinine, and uric acid, things usually found in urine, yet they also found prostate-specific antigen, PSA, produced only by the Skene's glands, tiny structures on the front vaginal wall next to the urethra. Mysterious forgotten glands some call the female prostate, glands that might hold the key to this mystery. But why the rush to explain everything biologically? Because if squirting can't be controlled, faked, or triggered by the mind, then it challenges a system that demands everything. Be logical, repeatable, and obedient. Here's a hidden truth few dare to say out loud. The female body, at its most unpredictably free, is mysterious, wild, and spiritual. And squirting, more than a physical event, symbolizes that sacred rebellion, the moment a woman's body stops following outside rules and starts acting from deep within, where neither thought nor will controls. Science tries to capture it, but even in technical terms, pieces of the truth slip away. Independent researchers have shown squirting can happen without direct genital stimulation, through breathwork, deep emotional connection, or certain tantric poses alone, which brings up an uncomfortable question. If there's no friction, what's being activated? What's activated is energy, and that energy spirals upward, born at the base of the body, rising like an awakening serpent. But if there are blockages or wounds, that energy pools in the womb, the center of water, until it finds a crack and bursts free. That's why many women say squirting happens when they're not looking for it, when they least expect it, when they fully let go. In other words, when the soul takes over. And maybe that's what unsettles the system the most. It can't control it, can't fake it, can't make it happen on demand because it's real, and real is always free. If you're here, it's no coincidence. Maybe you're remembering something your body knows, even if your mind doesn't, something waiting to come out, not as words, but as water, water that cleanses, reveals, and heals. And do you still think this is just an orgasm? Subscribe if this channel speaks to something deeper inside you. Here, we don't explain, we remember. And remembering isn't just understanding, it's letting go. Most people don't realize that the uterus, that often forgotten center of the female body, not only creates biological life, but also stores emotional life. Every unresolved relationship, every missed touch, every sexual trauma, every unspoken hurt, it leaves a mark not on the mind, but in the water, in that silent space that, when it overflows, doesn't scream, but flows. Squirting isn't just a physical act, it's a ritual. Unconscious, maybe spontaneous, but deeply meaningful. In that stream of liquid, sometimes gentle, sometimes powerful, there's no lust. There's truth, a truth that goes beyond the bedroom, beyond porn, beyond how-to guides. Because no one teaches you how to cry from your soul. No one trains you to empty uterine memories that aren't even yours but live inside you. But one day, with the right person, or even alone, in connection with your body, your breath, your silence, it happens. The body opens a door the mind never knew was there, and through that door comes not just physical fluid, but the vibration of something deeper, permission. Permission to feel, to let go, to surrender control. Permission not to fake it, to be body and soul at the same time. Many women who experience it can't even put it into words. Some feel shame, others tears, not sadness, but relief. Because in that release, there's not just fluid, but freed memories, embraced inner children, healed ancestral wounds, and permission to enjoy without fear, duty, or rules. And that's what patriarchy fears most. A woman who lets her soul be free through pleasure because she becomes unstoppable, not controlled, persuaded, or confined. She comes home to her body, to her center. When squirting is real, you don't chase it. It shows up, and when it does, it transforms. Not just those who see it, but those who live it. Because that overflowing moment reflects the soul's cry, "I can't hold this in anymore." And maybe that's one of the most sacred acts still alive in a sleeping humanity. A body remembering its truth and letting it flow without asking permission. Here on Protocolo Okulto, we're not here to give answers. We're here to whisper questions only your soul can answer. If you've made it this far, it's because something inside you also longs to be released. Subscribe, because the next secrets we reveal might shake your body, your memory, your awareness. And when awareness wakes up, the body stops being just matter and becomes a messenger. Many have tried to strip squirting of its mystery, turning it into mere biology. But biology can't explain why, after that release, many women feel like they've crossed a threshold, coming back from a place they never knew they entered. An internal, formless space where the repressed waited to be healed. We're not talking about a simple physical reaction, but an energetic process born in the water center, the Adhisthana chakra, connecting to the spine, heart, and throat. That's why squirting often comes with tears, laughter, strange sounds, or total silence. It's not just pleasure, it's catharsis. And here's the deepest truth. This can be one of the most powerful keys to unlocking feminine creative energy, because when that water flows, it also opens the channel of creation. That's why after a true natural squirting, many women feel a rush of inspiration, clarity, and life force. It's like the soul whispers, "Thank you for opening the gate. Now I can express myself." In ancient tantric traditions, this wasn't a coincidence. Squirting was seen as a sign of spiritual awakening, a ritual of emotional and energetic cleansing, like a sacred spring washing not just the woman's body but her whole lineage. That's why it was both revered and feared. Today, though, it's been trivialized, turned into a spectacle, a technique, a trophy to be earned. But it's not an achievement, it's an act of complete trust from the body to the soul, or to the one sharing the experience. That changes everything. A woman doesn't make herself squirt. Squirting chooses her, like tears choose to fall when emotion can't be held back. Like truth chooses to speak when it finds a willing vessel. So instead of chasing it, we need to honor it. And if you've ever experienced it, even once, even quietly, even without knowing what it was, know this: it was no accident. It was a message from your body, your soul, or maybe from all the women inside you, who, through you, finally released what centuries of repression held back. Share this episode with someone who needs to remember her body isn't broken. Her sensitivity isn't too much, and her water is sacred. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. What's coming will stir memories you didn't even know you had. And when those memories rise, reality shifts. Not with fireworks, but quietly, like a river finding a crack in the rock and carving a new path. After releasing that inner water, many women find they can't go back to certain places, certain people, certain silent agreements. Something breaks, but it's not evil that breaks. It's the prison. An invisible cage built by centuries of repression, shame, fear of desire, religious guilt, and a lack of proper sex education a prison without bars where many grew up believing their body's only job was to please, not to feel. Then, one day, the body takes over, and in that sacred wet release, it speaks what was never spoken. Squirting isn't just discharge, it's a message, a hidden language, an ancestral code. That's why some women experience it as rebirth. A woman who frees herself there is never the same. It's as if in that wild flow, the most silenced part of herself finally cries out. Here's something you won't find in any medical book or viral video. Some women literally change their voice afterward because the sexual chakra, the adhisthana, and the throat chakra are deeply connected. When one unlocks, the other responds. Voice softens, words come easier, creativity wakes up, and the woman remembers who she is, not with her mind, but through her body. This can't be forced or obsessed over, or else it becomes a performance and the soul doesn't perform. The soul waits for you to let it through. The real happens when expectations fall away, when the moment is genuine, when there's presence, and above all, safety. Squirting doesn't come from an excited body, but from a confident one. A body that feels at home, has let down its guard, made peace with its past, and in a moment of full surrender, opens the gate without fear. Do you see now why this topic has been mocked, silenced, or twisted? Because its power and true feminine power flowing from within is the biggest threat to a culture that wants bodies obedient, dry, quiet, and asleep. Here at Protocolo Okulto, we didn't come looking for scandal. We came to reclaim what was sacred before they called it dirty. If you're on that path too, you know what to do. Subscribe and stick around, because healing knowledge has always been hidden in the waters. In the end, it comes down to this. The soul needs to weep, and sometimes it does that with water. Water that doesn't come from the eyes, but from the uterus. Water born not of sadness, but of release. Water that doesn't warn, ask permission, or explain. It just flows because it can't stay inside anymore. There's no more room for silence. This episode wasn't about sex. It was about memory, energy, the secret language of the female body, which when it feels safe, loved, and free, lets itself be. A portal to truth, a portal to healing, a portal to a kind of pleasure that doesn't just excite, it transforms. And maybe now you understand why this isn't taught in schools, why it's rarely spoken of, why it's mocked, pornified, hidden. Because a woman who owns this power can no longer be silenced, controlled, or diminished. A woman who's released her sacred water has buried fear, and that can't be controlled. So if you've lived this, don't deny it, don't downplay it, don't be ashamed. You've been a vessel for something greater, and if you haven't experienced it yet, don't chase it. Prepare yourself with presence, love, and truth, because the soul always finds a way when the body is ready to let go. And you, man, if you ever witness this, remember, you're not the author, you're the guardian. Be presence, not pride. Be altar, not stage. What stands before you is not a show, but a ritual, and the sacred is honored in silence. This may have been uncomfortable for many, but it's necessary for all. Because what we've spoken today in words, many have felt for lifetimes. And maybe, just maybe, this is how the female soul begins to reclaim its temple. Thanks for staying until the end, for not looking away when it was easy to do so, for opening yourself to something that teaches. Remember, subscribe if this channel speaks to your soul. Share if you believe this message can help other women remember what they've always known. Comment if you've experienced this, or if now you finally understand what really happened the day your soul became water. Until next time, because what isn't named stays trapped, and we're here to release it.